and they know exactly what they are doing. They know what all of these things have in common: climate change, transgenderism, feminism. We look up and we go, how? Why? What's wrong with the bathroom signs? Why?
Right.
Why do they choose violence every day against random things that nobody cared about? Well, the truth is that their intentions are to go after the one thing that stands between them and absolute power, and that is the family unit.
Right. Yep. It's the truth.
And so we revisit those topics, and I want you to remember this because it's so important. You will see it everywhere, an attack on the family unit. You revisit those categories and the things that they are raising up children to believe, and you see how it destroys families. Climate change, of course, what they tell children first and foremost is that it would be irresponsible to have big families. It would be irresponsible to have children. AOC once said that she wasn't going to have children because of planet and climate change. She thought it was irresponsible. Now listen, I am not going to fight her. Not going to fight her on that one. But think about that. Think about the fact that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were awarded with an award, a climate change award, for agreeing to only have 2 children because it's better for the planet. It's so evil, it's so sociopathic, but this is what they are awarding people for. You revisit transgenderism, and what better way to annihilate families than to annihilate bodies? You won't be able to produce families. You have men that are mutilating their bodies so that they can't reproduce. You are having women that are mutilating their bodies so that they cannot reproduce. You are having people that are confused, people that are taking so much medication after they realize, of course, that mutilating your own body does not change your sex. It does not do that. It's just you mutilating your own body. These people become enslaved by Big Pharma. They take pills to try to make themselves happy, to deal with their own depression, but of course that is an attack ultimately on the family. And then you look at feminism and you look at how radical it's become and the hatred towards men, and you see the way that women speak of men, absolutely no respect the modern feminist has for man. And you see them confusing gender roles again, telling women that they need to be just like men. We need to go out in society. We need to climb the corporate ladder. Don't worry about your kids. The government will raise them. That's why we have the Department of Education, which, by the way, should be abolished.
Yeah.
But you see, they understand that as they pressure women to go out and to pursue their careers, and they simultaneously tell women that they don't need a man, they are, of course, attacking the family units because those children are no longer in 2-parent households, because at the same time their fathers, ironically, are being told to act like women. Be more sensitive, cry more, get into your feelings, right? You can be just like a woman. You can literally be a woman, right? You're telling men that any demonstration of masculinity is wrong and backwards. You're producing a society where they want men to be like dogs with their tails in between their legs. And that is because they know that there is no society that can survive without strong men, and there is no family that can survive without both strong men and strong women committed to their children.
Yeah, that's right.
Family is what it's all about, and I think that has been my biggest understanding over these last 5 years, that it is the most important topic. My husband gave a speech recently where he talked about cultivating a positive and healthy interior life, right? And I think about that often. I think about my household, and I think that the best way to effectuate change is to make sure that you are cultivating a healthy interior life. You can control what happens in your household. We need more people committed to that. A friend of mine, Jack Posobiec, says, if you want to be a rebel, start a family. I'm going to add to that and say, don't just start a family, keep a family.
That's right.
The interior life, your family, is of the utmost importance, but closely following that, of course, is the exterior life. And here's what I will say, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, and I mean this well. If you are somebody who believes that we need to meet and sit down and break bread with the left on these various topics to figure out how we can come together, we don't need you. We need fighters.
Right. That's right. Woo!
There is no middle ground on transgenderism. There is no middle ground on child grooming. There is no middle ground on coming up with fluffy terms for pedophilia. There is no middle ground. And if you are offended because some of us have the courage to say what needs to be said, we simply don't need you. Mm-hmm. We don't need you.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think I have made a career of fighting like hell. My promise to you always upon this stage and out in the world is that I will never stop fighting like hell, especially when it comes to family. Thank you so much. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes Day 1, CPAC 2023, Protecting America Now. Please take a look around, gather all personal belongings, and exit the Potomac Ballroom. We hope you enjoyed today's
God has created us has nothing to do with the outside. Amen. All of you know that. And so we need, I think, what Penny said and the others, this is really a spiritual battle. Mm-hmm. And we have to look to God to give us the dignity that we lack, the worth. He gives it already, but to reclaim it and act upon it. Right. And so with that, how did we do? How did we do? Okay, good. Oh, we've got 28 seconds left.
Well, can I just throw out one thing? We determine the level of humanity. Women do. Men will follow us. So if we don't like the level of humanity that we have right now,
the administration is morphing the line between private party and the government. And the First Amendment is meant to restrain government action. And so how can you say they are not impeding upon folks' freedom of speech when they're telling them what they can and can't put on their platforms?
You know, General, in your very first comments, you said that, well, we believe in the First Amendment. When did it become the case that it seems like only conservatives believe in the First Amendment? When did liberals stop thinking that the First Amendment was valuable?
I think the last couple of years, because of folks like you, because of so many in this room, people are paying attention to what has been happening behind closed doors, or should I say online without our knowledge. These algorithms that are being used to moderate content. Did you know when you went and bought your phone that you could download some other search engine? Did you know that that search engine was moderating content pursuant to an algorithm that they put in place? There are other search engines you can use with different algorithms. They're using those to moderate content. Did you know that? I mean, I think a lot of, and this is what we were speaking about, I think a lot of the engagement on these issues is helping people understand what's really happening in these online platforms. You think they're a poster board with anybody can just go and post. No. Each one is unique because of an algorithm, and it's telling them how to recommend things to you, how to put things in order once you do a search, how to generate content to be pushed to you. So when you download those platforms, each one is unique. I don't think people realize that really until the last few years. I dare say a lot of people in this room didn't realize that. And it's so important because we need to know that there is competition, and we'll keep pushing forward to make sure there is true, meaningful competition in the areas of big tech.
Senator, what is big tech really up to? What are they doing? Why are they controlling what we hear and see?
My theory on big tech and Democrats in general is they are political enterprisers analogous to any of us that are entrepreneurs. We use the market system, put up with the rules of competition. They will do whatever it takes. Look how fleet-footed they have been over the last couple years. Look at all the stuff they got done, dragging some of our own party along to enable it. That is something that we've got to get better at. One of the most frustrating things for me is when you come from being a real entrepreneur, you know how to figure out the system. You know how to outmaneuver the competition. They will do it with the tools that you can bring to bear at the highest levers of power, and then that means you're going to ally with the private sector that now occupies close to $9 trillion worth of value, and all of a sudden lose any of their past appreciation of free speech because it goes along with their narrative. So somehow we've got to convince people, public, that that is a collusion between the biggest sector of our economy and the fleet-footed part of the political system. We got to get better at it. And until we aren't fighting the game in a way, we're going to be frustrated along the way. I don't know where it ends. I don't think you're going to get action from the Senate or the Congress to where they would impede what has worked for them. And if it doesn't come from our aisle, our side, and explain it in a way, and we get better at it, I think we're going to be constantly frustrated by it.
These three individuals are fighting for you. The senator is fighting in Congress to try to get things done for you. General Moody is fighting for her constituents in Florida, all Floridians. And there are so many state AGs who are following her lead. It's very exciting to see that. And of course, Devin Nunes fought the good fight in D.C., standing up to the FBI as the FBI was unfairly, horribly attacking you and your staff to try to silence the truth. There are some members of Congress sitting here in the audience, but most of you are not. I don't know that there's another state AG here with us. And launching a social media platform is tough, really hard. So what can you all do? What can you do as conservative activists to fight against Google? Google that decided 10, 15 years ago that it didn't simply want to create products, that it wanted to create a new society throughout the whole world. What can you do to fight back on Google? Well, you can stop using Google search. Tusk is a brand new search engine and browser.
Tusk.
It is run by
Interesting.
people who care about free speech, and they care about you. Stop using Google and use Tusk. There are some other search engines out there too. Try to do something that defeats big tech from using your money against you. We heard a little bit about Rumble.
Yeah.
Alphabet owns Google, and it also owns YouTube. Rumble is an online video provider. It cares about what you think also. It's going to let you do what you want to do and see what you want to see, and it's not going to curate the content that you have. Devin, you want to tell us quickly what Truth Social is?
Familiar with that company.
Yeah, good.
And we don't use algorithms, Attorney General.
Oh, look at
So,
that.
yep.
The teacher's going to school us today
Yeah.
on algorithms.
Yep. No algorithms at Truth Social.
So I just opened my own Truth Social account. When we go backstage, will you be my first follower?
I'll follow you.
Good, good. And then finally, how can we live in a society if Bank of America or Citibank shuts down our account simply because we might own a firearm, or we say that men are men and women are women? There's Old Glory Bank. Now, I helped launch Old Glory Bank with some great individuals like Dr. Ben Carson and John Rich. There's now a 60,000 person waiting list to open an account with Old Glory Bank. I would encourage you, learn about Old Glory Bank, and if you like what you see, because they're trying to protect your rights and keep you from getting canceled, you better get in line now so that you can open up your own account. But we have got to fight back because big tech is out to create a society that's different from one that you want, different from one that our founders believed in. And these three individuals are fighting really hard for you. We all need to fight back if we have any chance of saving this American experiment. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Try to find the Ted Cruz
president should do
earlier today.
is to say that Biden war on fossil fuels.
Shout out to the chat. Hope everyone's doing good. Just wanted to stop by and check out a little bit from CPAC today.
Would make a profit if oil was the same.
A platform.
I don't care. And the children aren't always children. They were going to find out, and it's going to be a
group, because in these times of high uncertainty, elected in Montana, I believe, we're also going to be seeing Matt Gaetz, Riley Gaines, another person, Sean Spicer, the former press secretary, he's going to be here. Byron Donalds is also, and Laura Trump, hopefully we get to see her at some point as well, but we have a lot of really cool speakers, a really big lineup for tomorrow, Liz.
9:05 a.m. right now it's scheduled. We've got Jack Posobiec, Kash Patel, Amanda Milius, and Julie Kelly taking on the swamp. That's going to be a good one. Jack Posobiec, he's one of my favorites.
Wow.
I've never been able to meet him in person, but he seems like a really good guy. I've heard a lot of good things about him.
I got to go to Israel with him through Turning Point. He was one of the other Turning Point ambassadors that got to go, and his entire family's incredible. It's not just him. So he did a really good job with those kids.
What was that like going to Israel for Turning Point? That sounds so cool.
It was the greatest thing I've ever done in my life. I am so blessed. I remember crying when they invited me, and I could cry thinking about it. Just what an opportunity that is. I wish my mom had been alive for it because she wanted to have believed it. But it was really special to me because I got to be baptized in the Jordan River.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my gosh. That's so
cool.
And
I definitely had been struggling a good bit, to be completely transparent, with my faith after losing my mom. I questioned so much, and I still do, and I still struggle with that relationship. But I knew I wanted to be baptized there. At the end of the day, I might struggle with it, but I'm very much a Christian. It's just the relationship's not where I wanted to be. But my mom had been baptized there before she got sick, so I had no idea where in the Jordan River she was baptized. All I had, because I didn't go with her, was a little video. And so when Turning Point took us to the Jordan River to be baptized, I was looking at my mom's picture thinking how special it is to be just in the river.
Right.
And I looked downstream from where we were, and I saw the exact same rock.
Wow.
I get emotional, but I was like, oh my God. Like, God led me all the way there. Turning Point was the vessel that made it happen, and I got to be baptized right there on that rock. They moved everything over just for me to be where my mom was. So Israel was amazing, and if that's not, just God being there and driving us there, I don't know what is.
God is looking out for you.
Yeah,
and I know your mom would be so proud of the woman you are, the woman you've become.
She'd just be like, wow, who is that with Liz? Because he's a rock star at CPAC.
I don't know about that.
Alex
The real rock star is Liz, though.
So we do have some other speakers, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and we're going to have an interview with her as well. I mean, it's a full lineup. If you guys want to know more about that, you can go to cpac.org. That's cpac.org. It's got the full agenda for the event. It's not too late if you need to purchase tickets and you want to come. We've seen so many people and met so many RSBN viewers here. It's wonderful. We have a little table right out of the camera angle where we've got swag, and we're just giving it away. If anyone comes up and says they watch us, we're like, free hat, take it, thank you.
Free hats, free cups, free pins, even playing cards. We even have RSBN playing cards.
Actually snuck one in my backpack.
Not going to lie, so did I.
Okay. I learned how to play 21. I don't know if it's called 21 or blackjack.
I always called it blackjack.
Yeah, blackjack. And I was addicted, but I didn't have cash, so I was using my friend's cash, and I went through like $200 of hers.
That's a good friend. That's a really good friend.
I was really bad, but I was having so much fun, and eventually she basically was like, you need to leave. So now I'm going to take these, and maybe we can like practice with like fake chips, not $25 minimum chips. I don't know.
we have to do RSBN blackjack for team building, team bonding.
that'll be my next locals, because we do go live on locals, which is a way. Kimberly Guilfoyle mentioned it actually, and she does some behind the scenes stuff. So if you want to like subscribe to ours, you just pay a monthly fee, and then you're able to join some of our local videos, and it's just behind the scenes stuff. So sometimes I'm cooking. Sometimes I'm just sitting chatting about if I got to meet President Trump the day before or whatnot, but you can go to locals.com/RSBN to check that out. And maybe we'll do a casino night next time. But we are going to wrap it up because we have to send it back to a general session. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll be right back with some more interviews. Check those out on our Rumble page or our app. You can download the app.
And I am responsible for the rearing of my children, right? We don't co-parent. These are what that means, and we get the.
These people are there for their own political agenda.
Right.
If they're not willing to come out and take responsibility for this, then what else are they willing to do? And we found out later, I mean, they put Tanner Cross, a teacher, on suspension for speaking at a school board meeting. We all know what happened with the sexual assaults where they had no process in place. The superintendent lied about it to the public and is now indicted for that. And their own school spokesperson is indicted for perjury. So what does that tell you? School spokesperson indicted for perjury. Parents were on the ball. They knew that you had a school system that was not fulfilling its obligation as citizen representatives. We saw it, we called it, and we followed through.
Yeah. And you also have a fan club over here. Olivia, let me ask you, because we were having this conversation. We literally, I think, held this panel backstage. And then all of a sudden I was like, stop talking, save it for the CPAC audience. So, Olivia, we're talking about public schools, because I know public schools get a bad rap a lot of times, especially as they're pushing this kind of woke agenda. But you kind of made an interesting argument, because you said, I'm for school choice, but we got to salvage the public schools. Walk us through your thought process here.
As a parent, as a taxpayer, I really respect and believe in the fundamentals of the rights, the roles, and the responsibilities of parents. If my public school system is not meeting my needs, of course I want to have that choice. But I am passionate about public schools, and I am passionate about every single child that deserves an education in this country. And I call it like the macro-micro view, because I can go on TikTok and I can get super enraged really, really quick
Right.
when I see what's happening. And it really is happening. It's not conspiracy theorists, it's not parents overreacting. These things are happening in some cities, in some states, in some districts.
Right.
But we have to look at the micro, and I have to look at my responsibility as a parent, my child, his classroom, my campus, my district, and get involved. I am so proud of my district right now. So we have dads that are volunteering, we have moms that are coming in and substituting. It's getting involved in the education, and then when things aren't going right, it's holding our elected officials responsible, it's holding our educators and administrators responsible. But if we do that, I'll be very brief, but like in my district, we have the most amazing career technology programs for young adults. We have an incredible special education department. So public schools have things that maybe not all the private schools will or the charter schools will. So if you're fortunate enough to live in an area that have that type of school, it's fantastic.
Right, but let me ask you, Lieutenant Governor, because we're talking about fantastic public schools, but then you have 17 Northern Virginia public schools. They held these merit awards from students. I mean, do you imagine being the child like that you worked this hard, and because in the name of quote unquote equity, how do we explain this?
It's a dumbing down is what it is. And, you know, if some children are up here and some are up here, instead of trying to bring everybody up, we're just going to bring everybody down. And here's the thing. America is a superpower, and the only way to maintain that superpower status is to ensure that everybody has a quality education, because China is right behind.
Right.
And guess what? They don't care about that. So we've got to have the ability.
In Texas, this curriculum where
the president of Concerned Women for America.
Your Liberty University, same thing. The Holy Spirit is alive and well, and where there is Satan, God is stronger.
Amen.
And so we lean into that, but we're not letting anybody off the hook. Everybody here has to fight, tell the truth, be loud, go to your school board meetings, stand in front of the clinics and invite young women to have a better solution. Invite them to your home, care for the least of these.
Excellent. Kimberly, can you keep it to a minute?
Yes, I will keep it really simple. Women are the ones destroying this country.
Wow.
Did a very
Bad time to cut her off, I guess.
For our children, for my children.
It was privately messaged in an email we confronted him with by a colleague in early 20. We also deposed FBI agent Elvis Chan. He told us that the FBI had monthly, then weekly meetings with social media companies in the run-up to the 2020 election to warn them about Russian hack and leak operations, and one of them could be the Hunter Biden laptop. They were priming the social media companies to be ready to censor when the story inevitably came out. The FBI had the laptop. They knew it was real and authentic, and yet they held these meetings anyways. And the social media companies were all too happy to carry out their orders. That is pure and utter insanity. Further, if they can ban, by the way, the President of the United States, President Trump, imagine what they can do to you.
Right.
I have a quick question for the folks in this audience that took a quick poll. How many people in this room have been censored on social media? That's what I thought. That's what I thought. And by the way, you are exactly why I fought so hard against censorship in that lawsuit. We, conservatives, the people in this room, we have to be the guardians of free speech. That is our mission. That is our call.